Don't settle for fakes. My Dualtaining is the real deal.
That time of the year again, huh? I swear I just had like one of these a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, hey everyone, it's McLeod. I'm back from the Paris Games Week. It was a blast. I spent the whole 5 days promoting the game that I'm working on as marketing and community manager Skyguard Arena. So if you haven't put that in your Steam wishlist already, please do so. And thank you. Maybe I'll talk on stream about how cool the event was and stuff that I had the chance to play. Not right now though. Today is a video dedicated to a much worse game that is called Duel Links. So, disclaimer, I think the format is mostly fine. Like, there's a clear best deck that we need to address. But other than that, everything is fine, right? People on Reddit keep whining about, anime skills. Oh my god, you can summon Yubel and it's not garbage. Wow, what the heck? I think like people are missing the point when it comes to what's really powerful about these skills. These skills aren't strong because you can activate it 3 times in a turn and turn Yubel from Yubel Ultimate Nightmare. You don't, that's not the fact that you click on the skill 3 times that's busted, that it is the fact that you can do this pretty consistently. Blackluster Soldier isn't busted because it starts with 7 cards engraved, like most of these cards don't do anything. One of them is Dark Magician, one of the worst cards of all time. But it is pretty strong because you get to consistently summon 3000 beaters pretty much every turn. How do we address these, powerful decks, regardless of whether they have a dedicated skill or not? I think there's 2 ways you can tackle them. You can address their consistency, or you can address their power ceiling. For instance, I don't think the best decks in the game should also be able to run the best back row in the game. I know, what a concept, right? I really like what they did with Yubel Hero, where, they put Clogger immediately to 3 alongside Neos Fusion, so that you can sneak a single Compulse or IDP in there. Really appreciate that. And in retrospect, I kind of like the nerf that they did to Odd Eyes, in which they tackled both the deck's power output by limiting 1 Shooting Riser Dragon, and limited 3 Dragon Pit and Pendulum Calls so that she would also get a hit to the consistency of the deck. Anyway, without further ado, let's address the elephants in the room. Blackluster Soldier. I'm proposing 2 nerfs for Blackluster Soldier. I think both of these are pretty reasonable. Endymion, the Magisters of to 3, and Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the to 3. I think one of the things that really makes the BLS deck really strong is the ability to use their normal summon exclusively for Endymion, the Magistus of Magiki, I think is the card's name. Whatever, who cares? It's a normal that can act as a draw and cycle. It's a normal that can act as back row removal or monster effect negation. It's a card that does a lot for a deck that is already pretty powerful, pretty consistent. So if you put this card at 3, you make sure that the deck can't run too many copies of Crackdown alongside this card as well. I think there's a real discussion to be had about whether or not this card is worth running over, Compulse. But even then, you can choose to play 3 of this card and 3 back row like Book of Moon, Warning Point that ounce on the limited 3 list, which is what I'm also suggesting. Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning to 3. It is a powerful game ender card. It's a powerful removal tool, one of the few that the deck has access to. I don't know, it's also one of these cards that enable you to kickstart your plays in a lot of cases. It's a boss monster for like some version of Life Twins, so I guess that's a peripheral hit to Life Twins, but like maybe that's a deck that we need to take a look at, down the line and tone down a little bit as well. Some people are gonna be like, oh, but what about the Magistus deck? Nobody plays Magistus, it's not a real deck. The closest you see to ND being playing in other decks is like, maybe Odd Eyes as a draw engine before you use Endymion as the rank format, and Abyss Actors, but it's not like Abyss Actors running other limited 3 cards to begin with, so it's not really an issue. So yeah, with these heats, I'm looking to reducing the consistency of Blackluster Soldier, and also their power, because what is bound to happen, in my opinion, if this change goes live, is that you're going to play 3 Envoys, not play any more Endymions, not play any more limited 3 staples. Instead, shift your focus towards cards like Book of Moon and Warning Point Bottomless that are strong, but not as strong as like Compulse, Crackdown, ITP, this sort of cards. Well, you can play ITP in BLS, but you get what I'm saying. Other decks. I don't think other decks necessarily need a nerf. Maybe they're gonna get nerfed because like Rockets is still popular, so maybe Konami is gonna want to take a look at that. I'd like that to not happen, please. That's not very interesting. There is, however, one change that I would like to see put in the newest ban list if possible. I'd like for Neos Wiseman and Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare to get their burn damage halved as, you know, as most burn cards post Dex Souls have. It's not fair that Lava Golem deals half damage and Neos Wiseman and Ulti Nightmare deal full burn damage. You know what I'm saying? I think this is also something that gives the deck a lot of strength. These cards are just absurd. It was not an issue when they weren't playable, but now that they are very playable, maybe we need to, you know, bring them down a notch as we've done with every other burn-related card in the past, what, 3 years or so. I also have some issues with this part of the skill, the Legend of the Heroes. Because like we just nerfed 3 effects, and then we released an objectively better 3 effects for decks like Tenyi, Life Twins also use it. You could use it in Orcust, I guess. I think like starting with 6,000 life points may be a bit too powerful, but I have like no idea how you turn this down. I don't know. It was a terrible idea to graft this effect onto the skill to begin with. I think the idea that, you know, if the skill just said at the start of the duel at Avramax you extra deck, I think it would have been really strong already. And the fact that you get to recycle, in the case of Light Twins, your Evil Twins, and in case of Tenyi, your Monks and Shamans, is also pretty powerful. Buff list! There's so many skills that could be just so much better. I only put a few because I'm lazy and got tired of looking for the skills that I think are underpowered. But like Battling Boxers, Cyber Dragons, Evil Heroes, Altergeists, Fluffles, Raid Raptors. There's so many cool decks that could be brought up a notch if you just gave them either modern support. I know they just released some Raid Raptor cards in the OCG, or just teased them at least. Or if you gave them a really cool skill to actually be able to increase what's lacking in these decks is often the consistency or the power, which is what, you know, anime scales tend to fix most of the time. I think it's insane that we have not gotten a good Cyber Dragon scale or new support for the deck in ages, just because Konami is scared of, you know, the olden days of Cyber style when you could just do whatever. That was a mistake, you know, but that doesn't mean that Cyber Dragon should pay an eternal price of suffering. Here's a bunch of cards that could probably come off the limited list without too many issues. Well, come off of like, okay, I'm gonna go with over each and every one of those actually. So Scrap Recycler, you take that off the list. Oh no, Orcust becomes not garbage again. Well, we have Effect Veiler in the game now, so it's like an additional way to deal with Orcust turn 0, which is during their first turn, if they go first. Enemy Controller, I've been saying put this card to 3. It's completely unplayable at 1. And at 3, it becomes another really interesting free-to-play staple that people can actually, you know, play with. Spear Cretin, there's no reason why this card is limited 1. It's not a playable card, never has been. Digital Boy Rhinoceros, it's like the limited 2 list does not exist anymore. Do we really need to keep pretending that this card is an issue? Woodland Sprite, I say it, you know, Woodland Sprite is not a good card anymore. It was, you know, the linchpin of a burn deck that used a skill that does not exist anymore, which allowed you to start with another extra card, which like, you have still parts of this OTK, well, FTK burn deck that are going to be on the limited list. I think the Golden Bamboo Sword is limited 1. We don't need to keep one. It's just, why is it there? Is this just, you know, symbolic? Pinning Cesar, you know, you can put to 3. That cuts off Madolches from accessing limited 3 staples, which maybe is an issue. And also, you know, Madolche is already a competent rogue deck, so maybe that's not actually a buff to the deck. Maybe another thing, it was like, if the deck can have one more starter, I don't mind it. Cyberloid Fusion, why is it still limited to? The only reason it's limited 2 is because the trap card is limited 2 as well, but like, if we can bring one back, Cyber Dragons aren't doing anything. Void Banishments. Okay, this one I'm gonna get some flack because I'm biased towards Infernoids, obviously. I think it would be a really interesting meta if we put Void Banishment to 3 or Unlimited, which is practically the same thing because the deck does not really run any limited 3 back row. It's a really strong deck in metas that focus around the graveyard. It was like the perfect counter to Xyz Galaxy. I don't know, it was one of my favorite decks to be playing for the first half of 2023. I'd like to be able to play it again, please. Performer Pal, Pinch Helper, I think is the name of the card. There's the limited one, Performer Pal Burgers. Why is it a limited one? I don't know, you could bring these cards back. Note that I didn't put any Dark Lord stuff because, again, I'm biased. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. I need to make some more videos for my content for my channel. Now that I have some vacation, I'm able to be recording some interesting stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this KCC or compete. And I'm not gonna compete anyway because Magic the Gathering has dinosaurs again, so it's objectively the better game. In any case, I might be streaming later this week. Take care, everyone. I'll see you guys and gals and non-binary pals next time.